Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Be Quranic. Today is Thursday, the 13th of Ramadan, 1446 Hijrah. It's almost halfway through Ramadan. Make sure that we make good use of the remaining days. We've got 17 days in Ramadan, inshallah. And make good use of this time. There's no guarantee that we're going to be seeing Ramadan again next year. We surely know some people that were with us last Ramadan and no longer with us in this Ramadan. So make good use of it, increase our Quran recitation, our Quran study, our prayers, and sincerity in our fasting and our charity works. May Allah accept all our deeds in this blessed month and increase us in our piety and taqwa. All right, on Thursdays, as usual, it is going to be Tafseer Thursday, where we're going to look into the meaning and some practical lessons from the ayah that we have studied and recited from Surah ar-Rahman. We last stopped last week at ayah number 28. The passage is about the end of everything that Allah has created. Allah says, "Kullu man alayha fan." Everyone that is on earth is going to come to an end. That there is an expiry date, either through death or also death as well, but the end of the universe, Yawmul Qiyamah. Everything in this material universe will come to an end. There'll be a destruction at the end. And Allah has created that end. Allah says in Surah Al-An'am, هو الذي خلقكم من طين ثم قضى أجلا. He's the one that created you from clay and then he placed ajal, a dead end to it, an expiry date. When are we going to die? So that has been decreed from the point of creation. And then Allah says, وَأَجَلٌ مُسَمَّى. And then there is another ajal, there is another date that is known only to Allah, and this is Qiyamah. So whether or not Qiyamah is going to happen in our lifetime, that question is not as important as what have we prepared for our own death, because we can die at any given time, and that's our own personal Qiyamah. Allah says, وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبِّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. When everything else has been destroyed, what remains is Allah's majesty and honor. It will fully remain forever. Allah Himself, with all His majesty and all His honor, will remain forever. And Allah then asks, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Now, we're going to move from favors to our relationship with Allah. Allah says, يَسْأَلُهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Allah says, everyone in the heavens and on earth is dependent on Allah. Yas'aluhu. Yas'aluhu, although in modern Arabic, is mainly probably used for asking. People, everyone is asking for something from Allah. But yas'aluhu also, sa'ala can also means dependent. So everything is dependent on Allah. We, people who believe in Allah, Muslims, we make dua to Allah. We ask for everything and anything from Allah. There is always a dua that we need from Allah because we realize our dependency. But then people who don't believe in Allah may ask like, nah, I've not asked anything from God. But the word yas'aluhu goes deeper, dependency. Even if you haven't asked nothing from Allah, the way our body is designed, when you are thirsty, you need water and you need fresh water. That is dependency on the way that Allah has created us. We depend on Allah in every single thing. Our body needs oxygen. Where do we get oxygen from? Get from Allah. Our body needs nourishment. Where do we get our nourishment from? From everything that Allah has created. There is not a moment in our life where we are independent from Allah. We continuously need Allah. We continuously depend on Allah. And this is something that we have to constantly remind ourselves, and especially in the month of Ramadan. This gives us an easier way to remind ourselves in the month of Ramadan, because we are hungry. And when we are hungry and we're thirsty, we feel like, I really need that glass of water. I want to eat something. We realize our dependencies on others. We need food, we need water. And where do our foods and our water come from? It comes from Allah. So Ramadan teaches us not only to constantly be mindful of Allah. Whenever we feel hungry, we feel thirsty, we're reminded that it is Allah that tells us not to eat and drink during the day in Ramadan. We're doing this for the sake of Allah. We can easily cheat. We don't, because we believe in Allah. We know that Allah sees us. We take this feeling outside of Ramadan and to everything else that we're doing, not just fasting, but even when we work, even when we deal with our family members, how we treat our parents, our wife, our husband, our children, our neighbors, how we treat them, we realize that everything is within the knowledge of Allah. So if in Ramadan we can stop eating and drinking for the sake of Allah, surely every day, every other day of the year, we can stop doing the haram for the sake of Allah. Now, that feeling also leads to the realization of dependency. We're hungry, we need to eat. We can't survive without food. We can't survive without water. That dependency. يَسْأَلُهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Everything, everyone in the heavens and on earth. It's not just human beings. It's also genies. Genies live, floats in the sky, in the heavens, and so on. The angels, everyone depends on Allah. كُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Every single day, he is in the state of sha'n. Now, what is sha'n? Sha'n is it's the same word, the same meaning like amr, affairs or chores, something that you need to do. But sha'n is something that you need to do and only you can do it. There are things that Allah is constantly sustaining every single thing that exists in creation, in terms of creation, in terms of nourishment, in terms of sustaining. Allah is constantly sustaining. Allah is Al-Qayyum. كل يوم هو في شأن. So if we